into that situation shortly. But first of all, Anton, do you think Arsenal fans should be getting a bit excited about this?
As much as you can get excited about someone getting booed and abused at work. But yes, I mean, I get the fact that look, this is a situation that may seem untenable, right? This is a player that is supposed to be the star striker for one of the biggest clubs in Spain, and yet it's a situation where he will not feel particularly comfortable in. So it may well agitate his wish to move. But Atletico have been pretty resolute throughout this. They don't want to sell him. There's a price in which could get done, but they were talking 150 million euros at the beginning of the window. That was a price that Real Madrid kind of put a speculative bid in, and Atletico didn't take it seriously. Barcelona have been interested but haven't met that, which means if Arsenal, who are obviously now fishing in a far shallower sort of talent pool this season, as we saw with the Vinicius Junior sort of interest, they want a top talent to come in and affect their forward line. Alvarez is a player of interest, but at the moment, it seems as though it's Barcelona's the club that he wants to go to.
Kevin, what is the feeling in Spain?
Well, I think when Alvarez went to Atletico Madrid, he was meant to be the player that they could build a team around, the player that could help them get closer to the top two and really challenge for top honours. And by and large, he's played very well for Atletico Madrid. He's been a really important player. But he said in the summer during the World Cup that he wanted to be honest and moving on would be his dream. He didn't say where he wanted to move to, but everybody knew he was talking about Barcelona. He's clearly the player Barcelona want to bring in, but they've never come up with a figure that Atletico Madrid are prepared to accept. The Real Madrid bid that Anton talked about was effectively a wind-up. It was Real Madrid trying to make life difficult for Barcelona. Because if they could put that level higher at 150 million euro, that's where Barcelona have then got to get to, or somewhere close to it, to try and bring him in. So Barcelona wants him, but can they come up with the number that Atleti will accept? Does he want to go back to the Premier League? That's the big question to me, because he's done that with Manchester City. He wanted to move to La Liga. I think Barcelona's the one he really wants.
Yeah, let's just have a look at some of Alvarez's stats as well, because since 2024, he's played almost double the amount of games that Arsenal forwards have. He's also almost scored double the amount of goals, 49, the closest being Kai Havertz with 22. He's far superior with his assists as well, recording 17. One that Arsenal fans will be pretty interested in as well. He converts more than 55% of big chances that he gets. So just to go back to the Arsenal point, Anton, is this exactly what Arsenal needs?
That's exactly what they want in terms of just a striker that they can rely on, but also he's so clever technically that he can sort of, he can adapt to however they're going to play. And the big criticism last season was they're a team that rely on set pieces and physicality to actually get through games. Well, Alvarez isn't that player. Alvarez gives you something different, which is exactly what Arsenal want in their front line. Alvarez left Manchester City because he wanted to be a star. He wanted to be the guy at a club. He knew he was good enough. He's had that opportunity at Atletico Madrid, but Atletico Madrid obviously aren't necessarily, he feels, capable of winning the Champions League or consistently winning La Liga. So he now wants to go and be the guy somewhere else. Barcelona have a gap at number 9 that he feels he could fill. It depends. If Arsenal can get round the table, agree a fee and maybe try and persuade him of Arteta's project, then perhaps he might move back to the Premier League. But it definitely feels like he sees an opportunity with Barcelona to be the player that he feels he's been building towards the last few years. That's why it's so exciting.
Yeah, and Kevin, just to pick up on the Barcelona side of things, do you think it pretty much is Barcelona or nothing? I mean, we're talking about Arsenal, but do you actually just think it's Barcelona or nothing?
Well, I'm sure Atletico would prefer to sell him to somebody else if they have to sell him. If they feel that the situation's untenable and they get the number that they want, then they prefer to sell him to somewhere outside Spain. Because if they strengthen Barcelona, they're just back to square one. They lose arguably their best player and he turns up at Barcelona, so they've just strengthened a title rival straight away. So it's not ideal for them. You are talking about one of the world's best strikers. You know, not just the goals, but technically dropping in, linking the play. Also, he works incredibly hard without the ball. He can strike from range, he can score free kicks. He's just a magnificent footballer. That's why we're talking about such a big price.
Yeah, and I suppose if he doesn't go to Barcelona, does that leave Barcelona in a situation that they need to look elsewhere? And if so, who do you think they would turn to?
Yeah, it's really difficult for them because they've cleared the decks for him. And this was always part of their plan. They've allowed Robert Lewandowski to leave the club. Ferran Torres has just gone to PSG. So they have a massive hole there. They played Rafinha to good effect at the weekend. They won 5-0 at Elche, and he looked good in the centre forward role, but that's not the plan long term. They want to bring in a top striker, and Alvarez is the one they want.
Hansi Flick said after the Elche win, he was like, I need to talk to Deco, with the sporting director, which suggests to me we might need to have a plan B. Because if you can't guarantee they're going to get their top target, then he will not want that ridiculously important position in the pitch, having to rely on sort of youngsters or players playing out of position all season long. Don't get me wrong, if a club can do it, Barcelona can do it, but he's not thinking about, just winning La Liga. He's thinking about going on and to develop this team that he's been building as well. So that's why they really want not just a number 9, but they want someone of the quality of Alvarez.
There's a young striker called Abdul Karim who's looked really, really good for them in pre-season. They really like him. They want to sort a new deal for him. He's not the answer as the starter going forward. He's a guy that they think could be the backup long term. They've been linked with names like Victor Osimhen, who's obviously a very good striker, but they don't seem hugely convinced by him compared to Alvarez. So they've kind of really bet the farm on getting Alvarez, and the closer we get to the end of the window, the more you think, is this actually going to happen?
Yeah, before we move on, I did just want to pick up as well on the pictures that we saw before we started talking, because this situation where he walked straight down the tunnel after full time as well, Diego Simeone saying that was a managed situation, they'd already decided that's what was going to happen. But how difficult or how easy would it be for him to reintegrate into the squad if indeed he does stay?
And staying with the transfer market, the focus now turns entirely to Julián Álvarez, whose future continues to attract enormous attention as speculation grows around what could come next for the Atlético Madrid forward. Álvarez remains one of the most complete attacking players in European football. He combines sharp movement, intelligent pressing, excellent technical quality, and the ability to operate in several positions across the front line. He can lead the attack as a number 9, drop deeper to connect play, drift into wider areas, and still arrive in dangerous positions when the final pass is made. That versatility is one of the biggest reasons his name continues to dominate transfer conversations. Álvarez is not simply a goal scorer waiting for chances inside the penalty area. He is constantly involved in the build-up, makes clever runs between defenders, and has the energy to press aggressively when possession is lost. That makes him valuable in a wide range of tactical systems. His finishing ability remains a major part of his appeal. Álvarez is capable of scoring with either foot, attacking crosses, finishing quickly inside crowded areas, and striking from distance when space opens up. But just as importantly, he has the awareness to create for others. His movement can drag defenders out of position, opening space for teammates and allowing attacks to develop in different ways. There is also a strong mentality behind his game. Álvarez has already experienced football at the very highest level and has shown that he can handle pressure in major matches. He plays with intensity, rarely switches off, and continues working even when he is not seeing much of the ball. That consistency is one of the reasons he is viewed as such a reliable attacking option. The biggest question now concerns his future. Any move involving a player of Álvarez's quality would be significant, and there are several factors that would have to align before anything became realistic. Atlético Madrid's position, the size of any potential offer, and, crucially, the player's own preference would all play an important role. For Álvarez himself, the next decision in his career would need to be about more than money. His role in the team, the tactical plan, regular involvement, and the opportunity to compete for major trophies would all matter. At this stage of his career, choosing the right project could have a major influence on the years ahead. There is also the issue of valuation. A forward with Álvarez's age, experience, and proven quality would command a substantial fee. Atlético Madrid would have little reason to make negotiations straightforward, particularly if they remain convinced that he is central to their plans. Any club wanting to move seriously would therefore need to show both financial commitment and a clear sporting vision. What makes Álvarez especially attractive is that he has already proven in different environments. He has shown that he can adapt to different tactical demands, work within possession-based systems, and still be dangerous in more direct situations. He is comfortable when a team dominates the ball, but he can also attack quickly when space appears in transition. That adaptability means there is very little doubt about the level of player involved. The real uncertainty is simply whether the circumstances will ever align for a transfer to happen. Interest and speculation can continue for weeks, but the story only truly changes when a concrete approach arrives and the player is given a genuine decision to make. For now, Julián Álvarez remains exactly where he is, and there is no reason to treat speculation as a completed move. But his situation will continue to be watched closely because players with his combination of quality, experience, age and tactical flexibility are extremely difficult to find. And if the door does open, even slightly, the race for Julián Álvarez could quickly become one of the biggest transfer stories of the window. Until then, the message is simple. Nothing is complete, but one of Europe's most sought-after forwards remains firmly in the spotlight.